Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager for GDM, with today's outlook. First, a lot of interesting things in the calendar, but that's at the final minutes of today's session. The yen strengthened against the US dollar, snapping a 3-day drop after the Bank of Japan refrained from adding a stimulus plan that has sent the currency tumbling, and it was expected that was expanded, of course, in October. The yen gained against all of its 16 major counterparts after the Bank of Japan's decision disappointed some investors who had expected the central bank to boost its record stimulus. Japan's central bank today retained its plan to increase the monetary base at an annual pace of 80 trillion yen. That's approximate $679 billion US dollars. The Bank of Japan get its inflation project to 1% from the fiscal year starting in April, while raising its forecast for gross domestic product to 2.1%. Moving to Australia and New Zealand, the currencies over there rallied after stocks in Asia also advanced, reviving demand for higher yield assets. The Aussie gained as a risk-on sentiment increased after overseas stock market advanced. In China, reports added better than expected economic data yesterday, and speculation remained that the European Central Bank will expand stimulus as of tomorrow. A little bit in more details, the New Zealand's dollar rebounded after dropping earlier on a report that showed consumer prices fell for the first time in 2 years, giving, of course, an opportunity for the Reserve Bank to scope and keep borrowing costs on hold for an extended period. Moving along to Canada, it's a lot of interesting things happening over there. The dollar weakened to the lowest in more than 5 years. On speculations, the central bank may signal it's more likely to lower interest rates than raise them. When it releases its growth outlook, that's up to tomorrow. Now, the Bank of Canada hasn't raised its benchmark interest rate since September 2010, before Paulos became BOC governor. The central bank has kept the interest rate at 1% in the longest rate pause in almost 65 years. Interest rate futures indicated a 0.4% chance that the Bank of Canada will lower rates by that much at that meeting. In Europe, we're looking at the euro rallied before the ECB sets monetary policy tomorrow. Now, the central bank is expected to announce a 550 billion euro, approximately $637 billion, bond purchase program this year. Stakes in the bond market were already high for Mario Draghi. Then the Swiss National Bank raised them. Government bond yields across the euro region had tumbled to record lows on anticipation of the central bank president announcing a debt buying program at its meeting Thursday in Frankfurt. Investors' speculations deepened when Switzerland's central bank last week let the euro fall against the franc for the first time in 3 years. We're looking at businesses in UK faced with a general election in Great Britain are finding that the only thing certain about the vote is its unpredictability. 3.5 months before the ballot polls agree that neither Prime Minister David Cameron's Conservatives nor the Labour opposition are likely to win a majority. And of course, the odds have already shortened on a run having to be held this year. The sterling remained, of course, relatively steady at 1.5160 versus the US dollar. Taking a brief look at the commodity sector, gold over there exceeded 1,300 an ounce for the first time since August last year on speculation. Slowing global growth will prompt some central banks to boost stimulus, spurring heavy demand. Assets in exchange-traded products backed by the metal are heading for the first monthly gain since July. Open interest in New York futures and options is at the highest in 8 weeks. And of course, money managers having increased their net bullish positions to the largest since August as well. The price climbed as much as 0.6% to 1303.63 an ounce and now is traded below the 1300 level. Oil, on the other hand, rebounded from the first drop in a week. Futures rose as much as 1.1%, retracting a 4.7% slide on Tuesday. The crude oil volatility index climbed to 60.16, the highest intraday level since October 2011. Crude stockpiles, on the other hand, in the US, the world's largest oil consumer, probably expanded by 2.4 million barrels last week. The data is due tomorrow. Right now, the important events in the calendar for today, at 9:30, Bank of England minutes, interest rate decision, and of course, unemployment rate. Later in the afternoon at 15, Bank of Canada Monetary Policy Report, interest rate decision, and of course, press conference. That's all for today from me. Keep ahead of the news. Stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.